People live for some purpose, and it is even said, if I am only for myself, what am I for? Today in consumer society, people get caught up with self-love, as it is suggested to them in modern underpsychology. Love yourself, and you will be happy. Respect yourself. You have to respect yourself. Don't give a damn about others. You need to respect yourself. Evaluate yourself, buy for yourself, again evaluate and love yourself. And people are left alone with themselves. It's common that we're left only with what we choose, and we lose that sense of meaning. Humans make sense of life, that is, sensually comprehend the meaning of life. I don't mean they ask themselves what I'm living for, but sensually perceives their life being fulfilled. They feel a kind of satisfaction with their life when they have something more meaningful than their own life. That's where they get joy. But when we find nothing more significant for us in our life, nothing more important, then of course we lose this sensual meaningfulness of our life. This leads people with an audio vector, for example, to severe forms of depression. People with visual vector to serious emotional disorders. And the rest of people to various forms of apathy, moodiness, joylessness, worthlessness, meaninglessness. She walks down the street and she is young, beautiful, listless and dull, joyless, non-energetic, asthenic. Well, what? She's not even sad. She doesn't even have the energy to be sad or sorrowful. She's just listless. And there's a slight malaise on her face from dislike, mistrust, suspiciousness, wariness, nothing else. Is that it? At 20-something years old, is that it? That's your natural energy? No, it's not. It's your condition. It's like when one animal, a predator, intercepts the neck of another animal. For example, a lioness intercepts a buffalo's jugular vein and slowly squeezes it. And the blood flow starts to get less and less until the animal dies. That's the case with our heroine. She's just got that energy channel blocked, and she's choking on lifelessness. Why? This channel is blocked. Why is she listless at 25? Because she's self-centered. Because she's selfish. Because she's a victim of modern false attitudes, and they are the same on both sides of the ocean. Love yourself. She loves herself. She can't breathe already, and she loves herself, and respects and values herself. And that's it, and she can't breathe. Only a refined, unique, phenomenal, perfect system vector psychoanalysis opens up whole hangars of energy to the human being. When we incorporate the energy of the whole species, of course we do it within our individual limits, but they are far greater, maybe 3, 4, 5 times greater than we live in this life. We only live out a part of our energy, our psyche, our desires, and the rest of it goes nowhere. When we are on our own, it is very difficult to extract energy from ourselves. There are some amazing stories of a man unlocking energy with himself, such a self-sufficient person. Like Jack London's Love of Life, for example, when he is alone, on his own, and he fights for living. These are individual cases. They are amazing. They are described in literature, but in general, a person is inspired only by other people. At the elementary Jungian level, we know that man has his own psychology. But once he gets into a crowd, he is subject to the psychology of the masses. For the last 9 to 10 years, there has been a lot of research on this topic. How does this collective mind collective psychology work. And here again, it is collective energy. The collective inspires. One person can't rise from a trench under machine gun fire, but when the whole company rises, they rise without fear, full of inspiration and frenzied energy. In other words, when we are among people, we get energy. We recharge with energy from each other. Vice versa, when we are on our own, not always and not every person is capable of loving life. What is love of life? To struggle alone, to find these sources in oneself. This is always heroism, and not everyone is a hero. In general, people are energized by others. Psychoanalysis is when we discover the psychology of the masses in ourselves. That is, we realize the collective mind, and at the same time we receive the energy of this collective unconscious. During system vector psychology training, when the awareness of the hidden unconscious comes, then we are filled with tremendous energy. Psychoanalysis in translation into simple terms is a petrol station that gives a person a lot of energy, which he cannot get anywhere else. That means that the greatest sources of energy for man are in psychoanalysis, even more than some inspiration that comes from interacting with people. Psychoanalysis is a direct connection to the sources of collective energy, which fills our potential to the highest possible limit in each individual case. Because if we look at a person, their energetic potential is much higher than they manifest themselves to be. Man feels listless, lifeless, but actually there is a lot of energy in them, which is not showing up. A person can live easily up to 90 to 100 years. We see it today, without having any particular diseases. Otherwise, people live much less without exhausting their energy. Today it is very trendy to talk about finding the limits of what is possible for oneself. People are looking for their own limits. For what? To use them up in this life, not to set them aside for the life that may or may not happen later. As people used to say, why do you need so much money? You cannot take that money to the grave with you. So the same thing, it is very popular today. You are not going to take these reserves of unspent life energy to the grave with you, are you? Therefore, we want to spend it here, all the energy in this life. This is exactly what some people call it in the modern world, to look for their own limits of what is possible. People cannot feel their own limits and look for inspiration, realizing that only inspiration allows a person to reach the maximum of what is possible. They look for inspiration, they wait for inspiration, sometimes it never comes. And psychoanalysis provides this inspiration when we realize the unity of the human species. It's like animals have an intraspecies coordinated instinct, but for humans, it is manifested in a higher evolutionary category. Animals have an intraspecific coordinated instinct, and we have a coordinated psychic or collective mind or collective unconscious. When we open up these literally hangars of the enormous energy of the two drives, libido and mortido, of which human life is woven, we are filled with that energy within our own limits of our individual potential. And in every human being, it is always much, much greater than what they live, than what they manifest. Literally from the first sessions of our training, when the second, third, fourth session is going on, thousands of people write in this chat room that their depressions are gone, the heaviest in form and duration ones, which were for years of tormenting depression. There was a life full of despondency. The person was in absolute apathy, unable to lift a finger. And in a few sessions of system vector psychology training, this changes, this goes away. A person begins to feel the energy within themselves. Tears flow, blood boils, heart beats, and the brain wakes up.